Dingus and Dongus.
Hey, Michael.
Episode 22.
Okay, so we're doing the Electric Sublime, W. Maxwell Prince. I pronounced his last name right this time.
Yes. The price is Prince.
Yes. And Martin Morazzo. W. Maxwell Prince is the dude who wrote Ice Cream Man, which we talked about.
Well, this is the same team.
Yeah.
Like the art and the writer.
Yeah.
This book caught my attention immediately and kept it the whole way through.
It's really neat.
Yeah.
It's a really weird story. It's like there's something going on in the art world that's causing paintings to change,
Yes.
and then it's reflected in the real world somehow.
Right.
And it all has to do with these people called dream painters.
Yep.
And it's really fucking bizarre.
It's awesome. It opens up looking at the Mona Lisa, basically, a couple panels and pages, and then aren't they supposed to be both open? And then one of her eyes was closed, so everyone freaked the fuck out,
Right.
and had to go find this crazy guy.
Yeah. Yeah. This crazy guy who's I guess a super famous dream painter, and when you meet him, he's like in an asylum, like in a padded room, and just like furiously painting and shit.
Right.
But turns out he's not. I guess he's not really crazy.
No,
But
it's just
yeah, but he has to like paint in order to like maintain his sanity or something.
Right.
Because if he goes without art for an extended period of time, he goes batshit insane.
yes. Well, so it was really cool that he and Manny
Yeah.
enter these dreamscapes, or these paintings rather, not dreamscapes, of like famous paintings
Right.
throughout time.
And it's like it's saying these worlds that are created by artists, like they actually do exist in some, I guess, parallel dimension or whatever, and these dream painters can actually access them and go into them and explore the space.
Right. The artist that makes the painting, when they do it, is literally creating a universe.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I think they said something, it's a space that lives between the canvas and the paint. Which is
Right.
a really cool way to represent it. It's like, paint goes on canvas, right?
Right.
But if you sit and think about it, well, there could be like microscopic little particle. I don't know. It was,
Right. Yeah. It's like the whole thing where, like, you put your two hands together, they're not actually touching because
Right.
like there's subatomic space
Yes.
in between shit.
And there's a whole universe there.
Yeah. It's really cool. It's like Ant-Man.
Yes. But not.
Yeah, not like Ant-Man at all. But kind of, but not. One thing that they bring up within the story is this idea of artists hating their work.
Right.
But they put a weird twist on it. It's like, instead of being upset at yourself for like not achieving something that you set out to do, these people are actually blaming the creation itself.
Yes.
That's an interesting way to look at it.
Well,
but-
I also liked how they phrased it, that it was a betrayal of your idea.
Yeah.
It'll never be what you wanted it to be in your head,
Mhm.
and it's a betrayal to your idea. Like,
And
oh
that's
my
why you have
God!
to destroy it.
Yeah, just destroy it immediately, because the only way to get rid of imperfections is destroying it.
Yep. And that comes the main villain, this Andy Warhol cosplayer guy.
Right.
His whole thing is, he demands perfection, and for him, perfection is essentially a blank canvas.
Right.
It's full of possibilities that isn't sullied because you actually try and make something out of it.
Right. It's perfection
Yeah.
because your idea isn't ruined.
Yep. And in pursuing this goal, he runs this weird institute of quote unquote art therapy,
Mhm.
but essentially it's torturing the art out of kids,
Yes.
essentially. And every once in a while, they'll get a dream painter who comes in and he takes them into this empty room and tells them to fuck up the art world.
Yep.
because he demands perfection.
Which is a through line with a little kid.
Yeah.
He did this with a little kid. I was immediately like, holy shit, when we were first introduced to the story of this little kid. A couple pages in, I can't remember when. Effectively, he's riding with his mom to go to this school, and like, what do cows say? What do cows say? Moo, or whatever.
Right.
And then the next page, the car is past the cows, and they're all laying over dead.
Yep.
He killed the cows.
Yep.
I was like, this motherfucker. Because at the time, I didn't know what was happening exactly or how things were panning out.
Right.
I knew there was a relationship with him doing art stuffs in the back of the car, and that's what killed the cows, but I didn't understand the connection exactly.
Right.
And I was just like, holy shit, he killed a bunch of cows.
Yeah.
Those poor moo-moos.
And at one point, he paints a building and it says boom, and a building that looks exactly like the one he painted explodes.
Right. And it's cool because he's jumping through these famous pieces of art.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to give props to Martin here, because in Ice Cream Man, I wasn't crazy about his art. And this one, I was impressed that he was able to capture the style of all the paintings that they were traveling through. I thought that was pretty neat, like with your Picassos and your pointillism. I forget who does it. Seurat, maybe. Afternoon in the Park or whatever.
Right.
Anyway, he pulled those off and stayed true to the original art pretty impressively while having these people traverse through it.
Right.
It was pretty cool.
And the characters themselves, they don't change what they look like depending on what environment.
Right. No, it's a nice juxtaposition of the comic books art of these characters stays consistent while they're traveling through these paintingscapes.
Right.
And the backgrounds change or the worlds change as they go through it.
Yeah, it's really neat.
Initially, because you see a lot of paintings, like framed paintings, and I had initially thought maybe they're able to do that well because they're making comics in a digital age and they just go Google it, copy it, and paste it into the comic, which is fine.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be able to get this type of comic doing that back in the 70s, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then you can't really necessarily do that with the angles and the people moving.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, maybe he actually did recreate those paintings. I don't know. That's impressive.
Yeah. I mean, I guess there are certain image editing techniques where you could pan it,
morph it.
Yeah. But who knows? Who knows how he did it?
He does.
Yeah.
Hopefully, unless he was in hypnosis.
He was a dream painter. He was in a trance state with his own Manny.
Yes, he is also a time traveler. So he heard our podcast about Ice Cream Man and was just really unhappy that I disapproved of his art in that. And it was a betrayal to his idea. So we went back in time to create this comic so that I could give him good praise. That's what happened.
Now, that makes me wonder, what's the timeline of this being released in our episode? It doesn't really matter.
No.
He's a time traveler.
He's a time traveler.
Yeah.
Martin Morazzo, time traveler extraordinaire.
So, this is actually, I think, the third book written by Prince I've read, and they're all fucking weird and fantastic.
Yeah.
And if you like just bonkers stories that barely make sense and it's just fucking crazy. Yeah.
What's the third?
I think it's called Last Day of Judas.
Okay.
And it's about Judas.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I appreciated the character Manny in this story.
Yeah.
The first time I really liked him was when he was arguing that he is not a doll. He's a multi-jointed mannequin that can reposition himself. Posable. Yeah. I was like, yeah, you tell him, Manny. Because, it's one of those art mannequins.
Right.
And then when he goes into painting land, he's a fully
He's
functional
7
character.
feet tall or something.
With a ridiculous bidet hat. And
bidet hat?
Beret.
Just wearing a bidet on his head. It just squirts paint. That's his little paint
That's
cannon.
his weapon, yeah. The other guy uses a paintbrush to fight off tumors or whatever they're called. Beret.
Beret. It's a blackberry beret.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's why this is the Dingus and Dongus debacle.
Yep.
But then another moment that goes on with me liking Manny, there's 3 in total specifically, is when he's talking about how art is dangerous.
Yeah.
Which it's so funny because really it's not. But in our world outside of the comic, it can be dangerous to ideas and structure and governments and religion and all that stuff, potentially. But in this sense, it literally is, it'll kill shit.
Yeah.
So
it'll murder, like, I remember one of the monsters is like a weird giant bloated fly, but with like a giant mouth.
Yes.
That thing was so fucking cool.
Yes. I also like the monster that the kid, I forget his name, made in the Picasso world.
Oh.
It looked like a virus.
Yeah. But it's giant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was intended to look like a virus, and I haven't looked at many viruses. I've just played games that have viruses, and it kind of looks like that.
It looks like a hexagon on a pole with legs.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a virus.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the third moment was when they were in, I can't remember the name of the painting. The one where it's the cafe in the corner, and the guy's sitting at the counter.
Nighthawks.
Yes.
Yeah. And
the kid blows it up.
Yep.
And Manny's blown apart his heart. And Art, the crazy guy, is, "Are you okay, Manny?" He's like, "I'm putting myself back together," because his limbs literally came off. It's like, "Yeah, you're great, Manny. I like you."
Now the whole story ends in a bit of a cliffhanger.
Right.
Which makes me, I want Prince to like write more in this world, because it's a really cool world that he's created.
It is.
The end of the book is essentially you follow the Andy Warhol cosplayer guy, Doctor, to his boss, and it turns out to be it's fucking Van Gogh, and he's somehow still alive.
Right. And he's doing a self-portrait, which already exists.
Right.
So I don't understand
I don't know
why that. But I also thought it was funny. He's like, "We left an impression."
Mm-hmm.
Like, God damn it. Because he was, as far as I understand, like a post-impressionist painter.
Right.
Right. I think. You tell us if I'm wrong. I think that's the case.
Yeah.
I appreciate that it ended on a cliffhanger, leaving the possibility for future books. And if there were more future books, I wouldn't say what I'm going to say. I wish it would have ended sooner. And that part didn't exist. And I wish the part with the detective lady didn't exist, and her second guessing herself as the director or whatever.
Yeah.
I wish it would have ended when crazy art guy kills that kid. It's like, I wish, like, we've got to end it. I've got to kill you. My purpose is to kill you. Is it going to hurt? I wish I could say no, but yeah, it's gonna. And then he just fucking kills him.
Yep.
And we don't see it, which is cool. That was a nice touch. Mm-hmm. But you see him leaving and said, "I'm fucking done. I'm never doing this again." And then there's a panel of the kid lying in the white room with just a tiny trail of blood. And that's where it should have ended. It should have fucking ended there.
That would have been a great way to end the book.
You're like, "Oh, fuck."
Yeah.
Oh. This poor little kid, he doesn't
know what he's doing.
No. And it's just, man, that would have been a fantastic ending.
Yeah.
But it's not.
It's not. And I don't know if, he had planned on more.
Right.
And shit just happened, and, he didn't get to do it.
Right.
Or
what the case. Yeah.
But it's a really fun story. It's got really great art, and
it's got good story beats too.
Yeah.
Like, I've never had a dull moment.
Yeah.
And there's some layers of character subplots going on too. So you get, in a short amount of time, you get a decent connection to the characters.
Right.
Right. It's not like, oh, I love this character so much, fanfic type of deal, but you get a good understanding of who they are beyond just this art story.
Right. Which is impressive because I think it's
four issues. Yeah.
4 issues.
It felt really comprehensive for 4 fucking issues, man.
Right.
So,
pick it up.
yes. So out of Eureka, California is Miasmic, a black metal band who put out Uroborocidal Undoctrination this year in 2021.
I think it's Uroborocidal.
Uroborocidal?
Yeah, I think it's Sidal.
Oh.
Which, that name, I fucking hate that name so much. I fucking hate it as the album name. Because it feels like just a nerdy kid trying to come up with it, who's like super into like, I don't know, shit. No. What I'm gonna say is I just like shitting on us.
Yeah, that's fine.
but there's like super nerdy D&D Doric who's trying to be super edgy.
Yeah.
That's the person who will write Uroborocidal Undoctrination. I hate that name so much.
Well, I think that your dislike for the album title is matched by my dislike of the album art.
Yeah. It kind of sucks.
It totally sucks.
Yeah.
However, I will say that I really enjoyed the music.
Yeah.
Albeit it went on too long.
I liked half the album. I liked the first half.
There you go.
Yeah. I liked the first half. The first half was really cool. Lots of great, like, interesting riffs going on. And I also like, I don't know if it was just the stuff I've been listening to recently, but, you know, a lot of bands, I guess, that I've been listening to recently start an album with, like, some sort of intro. There's some sort of intro to the album, right? Mm-hmm. With this, there's like, okay, we're going.
Yep.
That's
press record.
Yep. It starts off with a bang, and it's really fucking cool.
It made me think of like pure Holocaust era Immortal a little bit as far as black metal influences. And I especially loved the last, we'll say, 30 seconds to a minute of track 3.
Yeah.
Because it had really awesome, epic solo wee-doo, and they leaned into it. I don't even know.
Was it the third track?
At the end of the third track, yes, because I went back and specifically listened to that segment at least 10 times in a row.
Yeah.
Because I could just picture someone with a guitar going, wee, wee, wee. Oh,
if it's
so
the
beautiful
section, I think you're talking about, it's kind of like a psychedelic-y solo.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, that shit was cool.
It was so awesome.
It was really well done. I think past like track 4 or 5, everything just started blending together.
Absolutely, I felt the same way, and I listened to this album several times over. Every single time was that.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was because some of the songs were too long, or if they just put too many songs on the fucking album.
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
But I think I agree with you that the first half of the album, great black metal.
Yeah.
And then just listen to something else after that.
Yeah, I agree. I think part of the problem is, I think, the song lengths. A lot of the songs are pretty long,
right,
by themselves, and then there's 8 of them, 9 of them.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's a bit.
Yeah,
it's interesting because they have a handful of albums out. I guess at least 4. I think they could have turned this into 2 albums,
right,
if they wanted to be whatever, you know.
Right. Okay, so I was on Metal Archives. Apparently, they started in 2006.
Okay.
I think was what? That's 15 years ago, dude.
Yeah, it's weird to think about. So I'm gonna be in their neck of the woods next month.
Oh yeah.
Neck of the woods, because redwoods. I should hunt them down and tell them exactly what I think about this album.
You should.
And then also tell them to give me copies of all their albums. It's like, look, you guys are over here. Half, yeah. Cut each of your album into half. I haven't listened to the other ones. Pretty sure you need to cut them in half. Just cut them in half and give them to me. And throw the other half into the ocean.
Yes.
Whatever. It's funny, though, to think that there are pockets of the world, even, where bands that admittedly make pretty good album as far as recording quality and musicianship,
Mm-hmm.
these people and bands exist in smaller places.
Right.
Eureka isn't super tiny, but compared to, let's say, Chicago, New York,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, these bands do exist, and they are able to record and put out quality stuff in pockets of the world everywhere. It's kind of
Right.
cool.
Well, I mean, like, I guess, well, maybe not so much in 2006, but, like, definitely now, like, the proliferation of audio equipment and software, it's making it easier and easier for people
Right.
to be able to do stuff like this, but, still, as far as I could tell, or remember, they are unsigned.
Yep.
They do everything themselves.
Right.
That's, good on them.
Impressive.
But, yeah.
And it's also interesting to go further on with what you're saying. You don't even need to have the band in the same country.
No.
Every member can be in another country, and you can still put an album together.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah, man, all you got to do is, have a cloud drive or email.
Yeah.
Just send shit back and forth.
Not even that. You could just snail mail shit.
That's true. You
So
could.
here's a thumb drive with some bullshit. Or whatever,
Here's
tape.
a wax cylinder of my tracks. Now convert that into, I don't know what other format there. You could, what can you, I guess, doesn't matter. Here's a wax cylinder
Yeah.
of my tracks.
I'm going to give you an 8-track. We do all that and send it to Alex, let him figure it out.
And he'll turn it into a Betamax.
What were those
Laser
discs? Yes.
Yeah, fucking like tracked out all sorts of like ancient tech just to put together an album because everybody's recording on a different format.
Yes.
I hope that happens one day.
Me too. I mean, we can make it happen.
Oh, we could.
I'm not going. That's a lot of fucking work
Yeah, that's a lot of work and
for just a bad joke.
for a really bad joke. But imagine the documentary.
Yes. Yeah. Netflix exclusive.
The dumbest idea ever.
Well, we've
Well.
had worse.
Yeah, like this.
Yeah.
Dingus and Dongus.
Tomato.
You got anything else?
Nope. Go put pants on so we can eat paella.
Okay. Hell yeah.